In this video, we're going to discuss slippage, slightly more complicated topic. I'm going to try and simplify it as much as I can. So when we're trading meme coins, let's say we have a meme coin that's trading at the moment. Let's call it FED, the Fed, because this tends to be a very common ticker for meme coins. Every week I see another Fed launch. So basically, as the price goes up and down, you have these price movements. And these are exact. This is an exact tick chart. So the exact price that a trade took place. So let's say this was a price of 2 Sol. This was 4. This was 10. Back to 6, and so on and so forth. So these are the prices where transactions are happening. So let's say you want to buy into it, and the price at the moment is down here. It's 5 Sol. And this is the last price you saw, and you want to buy in to this particular meme coin, and you're ready to buy. The problem with meme coins are, especially early on, where there's less liquidity and there's bigger transactions compared to the whole pool, that there's a lot of price volatility. So within a few seconds, so let's say this is just 30 seconds, within 30 seconds, you can get the price go up and down 10% or more. And because of the time delay of your transaction actually going through, you don't know what price you're going to get. By the time the price is going through, it might be 7, it might be 3. How do you know what price you're going to get? And that's why there's this concept of slippage. And front-running slippage is a way some bots, people running bots, actually make a lot of money from this. So basically, if you set your slippage tolerance very low, when the price is 5, what you're saying is, if the price is 5.2 or 4.8, I'm okay with that. Still put the trade through. That's no problem for me. So what is that as a percentage? Doing a little bit of maths here. So let's call it, I don't know, like 1% would be 0.05. So about 4%, something like that. So it's like 4% slippage tolerance. But what that means is if the price gets to 5.3 or 4.7, then your transaction won't go through. But if you set a higher slippage tolerance, then if the price goes a little bit higher or a little bit lower than that, your trade will still go through. Sometimes if you just want your trade to go through and you don't care, you don't mind setting up a higher slippage tolerance. Both ways. You can set it up at 10%. That means that even if the price goes to 5.5 or 4.5, you want to sell, you want to get out of position, you've had enough, then you can do that. Especially if your transaction keeps failing because your slippage is too low. And sometimes that's the reason it's failing. Your slippage is too low. So let's discuss an example. How might everything fail? Same example again. The price is 5. You set your slippage really tight at 0.05%. What that means is if the price is 5, then your transaction will only go through if it's 5.09 or 4.91, something like that. So it's very, very close to this price. But what if the price is yo-yoing and it's miles out of this? It drops then to 4.7. And then from 4.7, you keep your slippage the same and you try and do the transaction again. So that means if it goes to 4.8 or 4.6, it will buy. But if the price moves further than that, the transaction will fail. And what happens is your transaction just keeps failing because you can't nail the exact price because it's moving much faster than your slippage tolerance allows. So like I said, it's a little bit more complicated, but once you get it, it'll make complete sense. So in a simpler way, you're setting stuff up so tight in terms of what price you're allowing your bot or your wallet to buy at. It's so tight that the price is moving so fast, you're not catching the price where you want it to be. You need to be more lenient, a little bit more flexible. And that's where we talk about changing your slippage tolerance. So let's use some examples. This is Trader Joe. I showed you before, and we found some random coin called GEGS. Now with this, I've got a slippage tolerance here of 3%. If I click on this, I can change this. The default is 0.1 and 0.05. Low slippage tolerance, V2, normal slippage tolerance. It's usually the top one you need to worry about. And what you can do here, you've got a transaction deadline as well. So it will keep trying for a long period of time. You don't need to worry about this. There's a default here, but usually your transaction will just fail straight away if it doesn't go through. So I don't usually mess with that. Now, if I find my transactions aren't going through and prices moving too quickly, up or down, whichever way, I usually increase this. So I might move this up to 4 or 5%. Now, this does mean that potentially I will pay 5% above what the price is. And it even warns you here your transaction may be front run, which we'll discuss in a minute. But to get your transaction to go through, sometimes you have to do that. And remember, we're discussing meme coins here where price could go down 50%, it could go up 300%. So actually 2, 3, 4% is not the end of the world if you want your trade to go through. And if price is going up very, very quickly, because a coin is just very popular right now, it's not going to take your transaction if you set your slippage too low. So let me illustrate that to you. So basically, let's say price is pumping and is going up very, very, very quickly. So it's at 5 here, and then within a few seconds, 6, 7, 8, literally within seconds. So if you set your slippage at 0.05, the price is already moved by the time you try and do your transaction. It's not going to catch that price. And then so on and so forth. So your transaction is never going to go through and you're going to miss the entire pump. Don't want that. You want it to go through. So you're willing to take a little bit of a risk and go with 3, 4, 5% slippage just to make sure your trade goes through and you get on this. And so what if you pay 5.05 rather than 5 if you can see it pumping? Because once it gets to 6, you've already made 20%. So what if you paid 5% on slippage? I hope you see my point. Sorry, even this here, 5% is not 5.05, sorry, it's 5.25. So you're paying 5.25 basically with the 5% slippage. But if it goes to 6, you've made 20%. If it goes to 10, you've made 100%. So it's well worth the extra little bit of slippage that you might lose out on. So this works both ways. If price is going up very quickly or down very quickly, that's where you'll use slippage to your advantage. That's how it works basically with slippage. Let's get back onto the trading platform. It's the same with Radium. So here with Radium, if I click on more information at the bottom, and then here you can see slippage tolerance. So if you hover over here, it will explain to you maximum difference between your estimated price and execution price, which is basically, estimated price is actually what the price kind of is right now. That is the actual price, 5. And your execution price is the 5.25. And you can see default is 0.05. And you might want to increase this to 0.5 or even something much higher like 2 or 3%. So sometimes that's what you need to do to get the transaction to go through, or otherwise it doesn't go through. Now, what's all this front running business about? Well, basically that I will discuss in the next video, because that's a whole topic. And actually, believe it or not, there is a way to make actually a lot of money if you're if you're a developer and you're into bots and stuff like that. It's a great way to make cash as well. I don't spend too much time on stuff like that, but I do find the whole topic quite interesting. So we'll discuss that in the next one. Thanks for listening.